So it dawned on me that I've been talking about all this stuff and giving guidance and a meditation and whatnot, and I haven't really explained who I am or what my deal is. So my name is Sequoia Sage Garza-Keith, and I am Chicana. Most of my family is from South America and Mexico, and one ancestor is from here, and probably some Spanish mix in there, but you know, that's just the way colonizing works. So a lot of the things that I practice are based around my heritage, particularly that of indigenous Mexican ties. We have Aztec blood, and we are supposedly related to one of the tribes in Jalisco, and we have a lot of the same cultural upbringing. So we don't want to identify with that tribe in particular and claim something that's not ours, but there is a lot of similarities in a lot of the ways that we cook and a lot of things that we make, a lot of things that we do in our day-to-day are very, very similar to one of the tribes down there. I do claim indigeneity because I feel like it's important for anyone who is Latin to claim some of that if they are primarily or can track their ancestry to an indigenous tribe of the space. I am very big proponent of eco stuff, and so I refer to myself as an artist and activist in Arica. I do a lot of activism out in the space. I do a coat drive every year. I've been doing it for about 9 years now, and I'm really, really proud of what it's become. We just got our first office space. It's called the Dead Roots, and we do a kids-friendly version every year at schools called Rudy's Relief, which is named after our mascot. I'll see if I can put his image right here. I'm not super great at editing, so we'll see. And the art that I make is a lot of different stuff inspired from my own ancestry. So I do a lot of Ojo de Dios and beading, as well as some paintings in order to kind of mimic some of the styles that I see in my mind, which happen to mimic some of the styles that are out in the world already. But I have a little story to tell to kind of give you a better idea of what it means to be in Arica, because Arica is a term, it's also an art style from the Huichol people of Jalisco and that area. And it's really, really common for that to be the only way this word is used. But the word itself is Nawa, and it means to see and understand. I was born not breathing, and I want to tie all of this back into the summer solstice so you'll understand the relevancy of why I'm posting this now rather than any other time. I was born not breathing after my mom had already miscarried me. She believed that my soul came back from the first child that she almost had, which was a boy who was supposed to be named Sequoia as well. And I came back, and I was practically flatlined DOA as soon as she went into labor. And it was like I touched air and I was like, nope, I don't want to be here. Since then, I have had many, many interactions with close calls with death. I have seen a lot of spirits. It's something that is just something... Ugh. I have a hard time with vulnerability, so you'll see me stutter a lot more when I'm talking about myself rather than talking about an idea. But I have seen spirits and interacted with death in a lot of different types of ways since I was super small. I could see like dead animals, and living in Evergreen. I was raised in the mountains of Evergreen in the 1800s hunting cabin. We were on well water, and we had no heating other than our wood fire stove. Super rugged, and it was awesome. My dad built all of the things that we needed in there. And so up there, it was a hunting cabin, so there was a lot of souls of different animals up there. There were some wolves from way back, and elk and cats and mountain lions and whatnot. And so I just never really bothered me. My mom can see a lot of the same things, and my brother as well. It's really funny when we're in a space and we all see the same thing and no one else sees it. We're like, okay, we're just on the same page. And my dad has his own gifts as well. He doesn't see things quite that way, but he's very in tune in his own capacity. And some of the death experiences that I've had personally, I have been on the receiving end of a lot of violence from when I was very, very, very small. So I was kind of conditioned to withstand a lot more violence than I probably should have been, and got myself into some very dangerous situations, one of which resulted with a bullet passing so close to my head it burnt my eyelashes from a partner that I had trusted. And that is a story for another time. But what I really want to get into is when I attempted my own life. And I was confirmed deceased for like 15 minutes, and I came back. And I remember this vividly because, I mean, it was an intentional decision that I had made. And I remember being in the hospital doorway, and I was looking at my dad, who was in a wheelchair at the time. He had broken his leg skateboarding. And I was so confused. I was like, why are we here? What are we here for? And so I'm leaning against the doorway, and I look at my dad, and I'm about to ask him like what we're here for. And he's looking right at me. And then I realize he's not looking at me, he's looking straight through me. So I like turn around, and I remember seeing the nurse's station, and I look back and I see my own body. And as soon as I recognized that I was outside of my body, it was like a bag of sand like hit me in the chest, and I shot straight back into my body. It hurt so bad. But I woke up the next day, and they could not figure out for the life of them why I still had brain function to begin with, let alone any other type of function, because of the amount of substance that I had consumed. And it was a long recovery after that, not physically, but like emotionally. I was very upset to be here. And I was still in that violent relationship with that individual who later fired the firearm. And he was a big factor to why I tried to do what I tried to do. But I came back and continued on, and I had a couple of really interesting meditations after that, because very shortly after that, one of my acquaintances passed away in an identical way to the way that I had attempted, and I felt like I had influenced them. So I had a lot of guilt surrounding that, while also trying to unravel the grief that I had about my own existence, really. And it was really difficult for me to kind of navigate all of these different planes. So I sought out meditation as a way to kind of reconcile with this, especially because with my history of seeing things, meditation has been something that I get a lot of visuals in. And so I locked myself in a closet. This is just one of the meditations I did that was just profound. I locked myself in a closet and had the light off. It was completely dark. There was like nothing. I had plenty of room to sit. It was like a miniature walk-in closet. And I shut the lights off, and I was sitting there in the dark. I had a pillow and a blanket, and because I get really cold when I meditate. And I remember sitting there, and I saw my grandma and my aunt and a couple of my pets and a few of my friends that had passed. One of my other friends waved from the distance, like, "Hi, I see you." And then I saw this little figure sitting crisscross just the way I was, all the way out in the distance. And as it kind of like, it was like this weird like zooming thing where I felt like I was getting closer, but I wasn't moving. And this like light came out of my chest and like went straight to the individual on the other side. And I realized in that moment that that was the piece of me that didn't come back to this side. We had a whole interaction. It was really beautiful. She extended some communication to me. And I feel like she has been a great reason why I see a lot of the things that I see now. After that experience, I've been able to communicate with a lot more than what I was before. I've channeled into people's bodies on request. If they were in a coma, if they were passing away, I channeled into a cat one time because the owner was like, my cat hasn't eaten in like 3 days. I think she's dying and I don't know what she needs. And so I channeled into the cat, and the cat basically was like, please let me go. And I referred the message back. I was like, she's ready. She just wants you to be ready for her to go. And she gave her a blessing and died that morning. So I've done a lot of death work because it's just, I don't want to say a skill that I have, but it's something that that's been kind of brought to me. One of the other things that I do in the Narika work is communicate with spirits just in general. So I do something that I refer to interchangeably as either a UEP or, which was a term that is Lakota. I was given permission to use the term by one of my mentors, and Lakota Chanupa bringer, and or an exorcism, because it's a little more simple to explain it that way. Anyways, what that is basically I put someone into a trance and I will speak to them until I can see if there's any attachment that they have. I have a little portal on my hand, that's a little circle. I gotta get that re-tattooed, or I'm going to re-tattoo it. And that's new, but it's kind of a fun tool to have to mark my work. And so I put them in a trance. I can speak to them until I get access to any other spirits that might be present. Once we're in this state together, because I often go into this trance as well throughout the experience, I can speak with the spirits. If they want to go home, I can help them find their home. If they are causing detriment to the individual that I'm working on, I will ask them to leave, or I will forcibly remove them from the individual that I'm working on. And what I've learned throughout all of this is that every spirit, even you here watching me through this screen, how strange is that? All of them want to go home. Almost all of them. Some of them are so lost, just like maybe some of you on the other side of this screen, that are just seeking a place to go. Like, where is home? Where do I belong? Where do I fit? Spirits are the same way, and I am a strong believer that there are no good or bad spirits. They just either are in a place that fits, in a place that works, or a place that doesn't, and that causes some turmoil. It's just like two people butting heads when they live together. Sometimes they work great when they're not living together. This is what I do. I find it really important to communicate that because some people think it's like this, it's like the exorcist or the poltergeist or something, and it's really, it can be. I've had some interesting experiences for sure, but generally speaking, it's just one being asking for help for another being to go home. And sometimes it's interchangeable about which soul asked for it. So Teng Dios is the other side of this, where I bring the soul forward. I have a whole workbook that allows people to do this work on their own if they would like, but I also assist and do private sessions with people to help bring their true soul forward, and remove any fluff that they may have picked up along the way, in order for them to really move on the path that they are destined to be moving on, or their self-actualization. So Teng Dios, Narika, this is what I do. Anyways, back to the story. I had made the attempt it was 2017 on around the summer solstice. I don't know why that was so hard to say. It's kind of hard to talk about. And over the years, we've done some celebrations. Like, my mom has done like a Happy You're Alive Day for me every year since then. And I have kind of struggled with finding my place around this time of year. And this year in particular has, I think, really shown a turning point in my experience. And another little thing that I work on, especially around the Tengdios, is self-pride and what you're proud of, and really making sure that you're speaking your pride from the rooftops, because no one else is going to be knowing what you're doing and giving you accolades if you want them, if you don't say what you're doing. I'm not seeking that. I'm just super proud of myself, and I just want to like shout it from the rooftops just for funsies. Excuse me. The fire water's coming back to bite me. Anyway, so this year I have been really pushing myself with Tengdios. I got the workbook started. I've been doing the subscription thing for a few months now, and I've started asking different people for permission. Like, can I quote you in this? Can I do this? Can I do that? So I have permission from a professor, and I just got permission from Simone. Ooh, he's a somatic dancer, and he does amazing work to help people work through grief in particular, but also social anxiety and a lot of other things that people deal with. And he is amazing. But I emailed him just on a whim. I'm like, can I quote you in my book? And they were like, yes. Simone directly said yes. He would love if you would. Just make sure that you like state his name. I'm like, obviously, of course I'm gonna state his name. He's the best. I got accepted to work at my first ever music festival. So I'm doing a 3-day weekend down in the valley, and I'm so excited about it because I've never been to a multi-day music festival, and I get to actually enjoy this. And I was also asked to be a guest speaker at another festival, and so I have all of these things going on, and I'm so excited, especially because all of this is like happening around the solstice, and it's just, it feels like I finally was able to do my work enough to bring my own soul back forward, so that way I can follow on my own path to my self-actualization. And it's just, I'm so proud of myself and really excited for all of these things that are coming my way. And yeah, that's me. Yeah, hello. Happy summer solstice. If you're in If you are interested in any of these things that I mentioned and you would like some guidance, some help, maybe a little facilitation, or a spirit consultation, I would be really happy to work with you. There's a book me button on my page, and you know what? Excuse me, I'm not allowed to swear on this. You know what I was about to say? We're just gonna do it. Screw it. I'm going to put a little discount code in the caption of this video that'll be allowed for, I think we'll just do the next 30 days. And so if you are interested in a 15-minute Zoom or 30-minute Zoom spirit consultation, use the discount code below. You don't actually have to type anything in on the Book Me page to get the code. It's just communicating with me. And yeah, all right. That's all I got for you guys. So live spicy. I'll see you on the other side, and Tengdios.